Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's regular meeting of the Board President and Board of Trustees. Today is March 28th. Our first order of business, of course, is the Pledge of Allegiance. And tonight we'll be led by a fifth grader from Burridge Middle School. His name is Albert Serrano Perez. He is some of his favorite school subject is math. He actually enjoys learning new ways to use numbers. He loves working with fractions, decimals, and rounding numbers. He also participated in the 2015 cross-country team and received 4th place during one of his meets. He's also a member of the Science Olympiad, which meet 2 days a week after school. His favorite out-of-school activities are playing soccer, reading, board games, and playing with his dog, Junior. Albert, which by the way was my father's name, told him that, is actually the youngest of 4. His favorite place to go is Wisconsin Dells. He just finished writing an essay all about it. So if you'll come to the front and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, we'd appreciate
it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
He knows how to work a microphone.
Yes. Thank you, Albert. Karen, may I have roll call, please?
Trustee Francis.
Here.
Trustee Grasso.
Here.
Trustee Pavesa.
Here.
Trustee Bolus.
Here.
Trustee Murphy. Trustee Schiappa. Mayor Straub.
Here. And tonight we have a special event tonight for the Police Department commendation of Officer Christopher Garcia. And we have Chief John Matt.
Thank you, Mayor. Where's Chris hiding? Come on up, Chris. Stand right here. Thank you, Mayor, Board of Trustees. It's my honor tonight to present in front of all of you and the citizens a commendation to Officer Christopher Garcia. I'm going to read it from his award. The Burr Ridge Police Department commendation is awarded to Officer Christopher Garcia for his actions on March 12, 2016 at 1:30 in the afternoon. Officer Garcia responded to multiple 911 calls reporting 3 suspicious subjects attempting to hide under automobiles in the area of 91st Street and Enclave in Burr Ridge. While responding to the area, Burr Ridge officers received information that the 3 subjects on Enclave matched the description of 3 theft suspects that just escaped custody of the Burlington Northern Railroad Police in the Willow Springs area east of Burr Ridge. Officer Garcia located the 3 suspects on Enclave Drive. The 3 suspects fled. 1 was captured on Enclave Drive. Officer Garcia pursued the other 2 suspects to the area of 91st Street and Drew. He observed the 2 suspects run to the rear of a home located at 10 South 400 block of Drew. Officer Garcia lost sight of the suspects but heard a loud noise at the rear of the residence. The suspects had forced entry to the rear of the home and confronted the female resident inside the home. Unknown if the suspects were armed, Officer Garcia positioned himself at the rear door of the home to make entry. Corporal Ryan Husaric, Officer Megan Smith arrived on the scene and set a perimeter around the home. While the suspects were distracted by Officer Garcia at the rear of the home, the female resident escaped unharmed out the front door of the house. The offenders were subsequently taken into custody upon being ordered to exit the residence and were subsequently charged with residential burglary, criminal trespass to residence, and resisting arrest, and also aggravated battery to a police officer, Cook County Sheriff. All 3 suspects are convicted felons and documented gang members out of Chicago. Officer Garcia exhibited an exceptional display of sound judgment in a high-stress situation, along with his dedication to ensuring the victim was protected from any further suffering or potential injury. Officer Garcia brought great credit to himself, the Burr Ridge Police Department, and his fellow officers for his actions in ensuring the public safety at his own risk. Officer Garcia's immediate supervisor, Sergeant Luke Volpel, and the members of the supervisory staff were sufficiently impressed by his actions in this incident, and they unanimously recommended that he be officially recognized by the department. I wholeheartedly concur with the recommendation of my staff, and I'm pleased to authorize and award Officer Christopher Garcia with this commendation. Good job. I would also like to recognize the other two officers that were there, and they're in the audience, Officer Megan Smith and Corporal Ryan Husarek. They're back there in the crowd. Corporal Husarek and Officer Smith are going to be given honorable mentions in this incident too. And I'd also, the residents are here tonight. Mrs. Eggert was in the home, and she wanted to be here tonight when we recognize Officer Garcia. Thank you for coming out. Congratulations. Thanks. I got your, don't go anywhere yet. I got your award, I got your ribbon. Here's your ribbon. Thank you. Congratulations. Well done.
Congratulations, Walter. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Chief. Let's give another round of applause. Okay, now we're at the residents' comments section. Are there any residents in the audience that would like to address the board at this time? And we have a consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or citizen so requests, in which event it will be removed from the consent agenda. Under minutes, we have 5A, approval of regular board meeting of March 14th, 2016. 5B, approval of fiscal year 16-17 budget workshop of March 7th, 2016. 5C, approval of continued fiscal year 16-17 budget workshop on March 10th, 2016. Also 5D, receive and file a draft plan commission meeting March 21st, 2016. We have nothing on our ordinances or resolutions under considerations. We have on 8E, approval of Plan Commission recommendation to approve variations to permit the re-subdivision of 3 parcels into 2 lots fronting on 93rd Place. The proposed lots being 13,813 square feet in area and 92 feet in width, rather than the required 20,000 square feet and 100 feet in width. That's at number BL1 2016, located at 16W380. 93rd Place, Doug Polsky. Under 8F, we have approval of Plan Commission recommendation to approve preliminary plat of subdivision for Doug Polsky again, 16W380, 93rd Place. Under 8G, approval of Plan Commission recommendation to approve sign variation. It's number S01 2016, located at 15 West 300 South Frontage Road, Crown Plaza Hotel. And 8H, approval of vendor list in the amount of $112,881.16 for all funds, plus $197,096.63 for payroll, for a grand total of $309,977.79, which includes a special expenditure of $28,850 to Roche Ford for a 2016 F-150 four-wheel drive pickup truck and accessories. We have a motion to approve the following items on the consent agenda. They will be 5A, 5B, 5C, and 5D, and 8E, 8F, 8G, and 8H.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Francis.
Yes.
Trustee Pavesa.
Yes.
Trustee Bolis.
Yes.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
4-0.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. Under considerations, we have 8A, consideration and recommendation to award contract for the 2016 road programs.
Yes, the scope of improvements for 2016 road program this year include Chesapeake Drive, Oak Hill Subdivision, Polo Ridge Court, Ruth Lake Ridge Subdivision, South Drive and Woodview Road, and some miscellaneous patching, including Tomlin Drive. We went out to bid. We received 6 qualified bids. The low bid was from Brothers Asphalt Paving from Addison, an amount of $551,377.20, which is below the engineer's estimate and bid, budget amount of $578,500. We have reviewed the references for Brothers Asphalt. I think they did work with us back in 2012, did a fine job. With that in mind, and the fact that the bid is $27,122 less than the budget, our recommendation that we award a contract for the 2016 road program to Brothers Asphalt Paving Incorporated of Addison in the amount of $551,377.
Any discussion on the board?
Just a comment.
Comment?
Yeah, appreciate Mr. Preisig's plus or minus 5% cost estimate. It's very accurate and helps us do our job in the budgeting process. It makes it much easier. Thank you.
Any questions? Comments from the audience? Seeing no one, have a motion to approve 8A.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Bolis.
Yes.
Trustee Pavesa.
Yes.
Trustee Francis.
Yes.
4-0.
Considerations 5B, consideration recommendation to award contract for appraisal services related to the pump center and rustic acres properties.
Yes, based on the direction of the board, we went out for proposals for appraisal services to appraise the pump center and rustic acres property. We sent out 13 letters to qualified appraisers. We only received 3 back. The low bid was from Powich Appraisal Group of Wheaton in the amount of $3,000. I did check references for this company. They were all very glowing. These people know what they're doing and have done this type of work for many, many years. With the fact that it's only $3,000 to do both, I would recommend that we go ahead and hire Powich Appraisal Group of Wheaton to perform appraisals for the rustic acres and pump center properties at a price not to exceed $3,000.
Questions or comments?
No, they seem very well qualified.
There's an impressive list of previous clients. And any thoughts why only 3 responded to our request for proposal?
You know, I only heard back from one saying that they weren't interested because they couldn't find any comps.
Okay.
And he said, you know, with that in mind, you know, he wasn't going to do it. So hopefully they will.
And point of clarification, once we have those appraisals, we're not in any way publicly required to sell that property for that value. We can always, as any property owner, decide to sit on it should we choose to.
Correct.
We have a motion to approve 8B.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Pavesa.
Yes.
Trustee Francis.
Yes.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Bolis.
Yes.
4-0.
Motion passes 4-0. 8C, consideration recommendation to award contract for the construction and installation of a village hall sign.
Do I have Doug?
Good evening. Yes, the 2015-16 budget includes $6,000 for the erection of a new village hall sign. There used to be a sign right out the side of the building here by the flagpoles. That sign probably lasted 5 years or more longer than it should have. held together with duct tape for a while, but anyway, it finally fell apart, and we took it down, and then we budgeted for a new sign. We went out to, sought proposals for signs. I got proposals from 3 different contractors. The direction that we provided each of those contractors was first to show them a picture of the downtown Burr Ridge sign at the southeast corner of Burr Ridge Parkway and County Line Road, and tell them that, and we directed each of the 3 to propose a ground sign that complemented that sign, but was in the range of our $6,000 budget. We got 3 proposals back. First, the lowest bid was for just under $5,000. Steve, if you'll go to that, those pictures.
That one?
Yeah. The first one was from Olympic Signs for $4,913 for a ground sign made of metal and PVC. Second bid was from Design Group, and they are the company that built the other signs, the wayfinding signs that the village uses. That was for $6,895, and that was made of PVC. The third bid was from Advertising Products, Inc., an amount of $7,155. That is an aluminum sign using the same type of aluminum materials as the existing downtown Burr Ridge sign and the other village wayfinding signs. Although this last sign is the most expensive, it only exceeds the second one by a couple of $100, and we feel that it is more in keeping with the design of the other signs and of much higher quality, both in terms of materials and design, than the other signs. And we are recommending that we go with that proposal in the amount not to exceed $7,155. And again, although we don't have a color rendering of that sign, they will work with us to ensure that they use the exact same colors as are used in the existing wayfinding signs in the village. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I think I noticed the dimension. Is that just under 6 feet or 8 feet? How
Right, 54 inches, 4.5 feet tall.
tall and how wide?
Oh, how wide? 8, it looks like the total
80?
width,
Is 80?
80 inches.
The outside of
very
it.
outside.
Because when I was driving south just tonight, the big Burr Ridge stone that's there, I'm not sure if that was there, can't remember when that was put up, but I'm wondering where the placement of this will be so it can be seen.
It will be in the same exact location as the other monument sign, which is right outside the conference room here. You can see it from the conference room windows. There's 3 flag poles and a planting bed, and it'll be right there. Based on the other sign being there for several years, at the same time that the stone sign was there, there doesn't appear to be any conflict between the 2.
Thank you.
It'll be installed 48 inches deep, as the specs say, on concrete.
Right.
What about illumination?
It will be externally illuminated. We have light in the ground out there that can be directed at the sign.
Okay. That's all I have.
Trustee Francis?
That's a very attractive looking sign, and I appreciate this company willing to follow the existing signs for their design. A couple questions, Doug. The installation cost is extra,
Yes.
and how much is installation?
Their installation was $11.55. Steve was gone Thursday and Friday, so I didn't get a chance to ask him, but I'm hoping our Public Works Department can install it.
Well, since we're already over budget.
Putting them
I
on the
would-
spot.
I would suggest that we look into that and try to minimize our extension into the over budget area. Also, which way will it be oriented?
It's 2-sided. It'll be perpendicular to the street.
Perpendicular street? Okay. And that was the way the old one was?
Right.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Trustee Cabeza?
I think a nice sign is very important. I like the top one, but what I really like, and I was wondering if that could be added, where you have the BR on that sign, if we could make it like the one on the bottom one and raise it with the, to offset it a little bit. Incorporate that, you know, incorporate that raising of the BR and make it a little bigger on that sign, on the top sign, to do that on the top sign. I wonder what that would cost.
We can ask them
Everybody else
about
likes
that.
it, but I like that idea.
I'd be glad to work with them on that. It's just, I think it might be a little bit difficult because, as you can see from this elevation, the signpost it's a T at the top. So to put something in between there, like you've got here, would interrupt that beam. I'm not sure, but we'll work with them on that.
Now, could I ask a question too? Is the Burr Ridge at both sides?
Yes.
Both sides, okay, well then what Al is suggesting is that you'd have to have two of those.
Raised
Burr
and,
Ridge, you know, probably
Isn't that
attached.
both sides? If the signs are both sides, what difference does it make if it's raised?
I mean, you just have it on each side.
No. What you have printed on one side, you have printed on the other, right?
I think Doug's talking about the beam
Right.
across the top.
If need be, the top beam can actually be lowered a little bit to accommodate, if they're looking to save any money in construction costs. But I think that's a good suggestion.
Like I said, I'd work with the top sign, but I'd see if we could put that elevated Burr Ridge logo involved in it.
And Doug, can you tell us a little bit more about the actual materials and the expected longevity between the three different sign proposals?
I'll try. I'm no expert on sign materials, but I did have a brief conversation with the company that proposed the top sign, and it is heavy gauge aluminum, very similar to the downtown Burr Ridge sign, and as opposed to this sign being a PVC plastic material. I don't really know that much about those materials, but just looking at the existing materials we use in our wayfinding sign, they look like they'll last a long, long time. Well, the ones that have been up for 5, 6, 7 years are still look like new, I think.
Any other questions or comments from board members? Anything rendered by the attendants? Okay. Well, may I have a motion to approve?
Wait a minute.
We're gonna,
Aren't we gonna see what it's gonna cost more to put that little raised area in? I mean, we're gonna go with the number one sign, I would think, but I'd like to see how much more that adds to it. I personally think it makes it look sharper.
So we'll just table till the next meeting until we get more information.
Make a motion, we table it till the next meeting till we get more information.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Trustee Benizo?
Yes?
Trustee Francis?
Yes.
Trustee Grasso?
yes.
Trustee Bolus?
Yes.
4-0.
Okay, 8D, consideration of recommendation to award contract for the purchase of license plates recognition camera system.
Chief?
Chief?
Good evening again. This license plate recognition project has been going on for some time now. My original proposal with a piece of equipment that I had found at a law enforcement expo back in October of 2014, what I originally proposed to you in my budget goals was a radar speed trailer that had license plate recognition cameras, 4 cameras, mounted inside the top of the trailer, and had a speed indicator and an annunciator board. It was quite an impressive piece of equipment for approximately $40,000. And at the time, with the residential burglaries and other issues we've had, I felt it'd be a good crime-fighting tool to have. Well, since that time, since it's I first saw it in October of 2014 to, as we plan to move forward in the last couple months, I found out it's no longer made anymore. The vendor does not manufacture that type of trailer. So what they did was they came back and they basically said, well, if you want a speed trailer, we'll find something for you. So what they came back was a piece of equipment that was nowhere near the quality and the capability of what I originally saw, but for the same amount of money. And had half the amount of cameras in there. So a lot of talking with Steve and going through, I would really like to still get license plate recognition technology and use that money, but in a different application. And then, as in the memo I provided to you in your packet, I tried to put a lot of technical information. And we learned a lot, and there's been advancements in the technology in the last couple of years that I think would have tremendous benefit, actually more than my original proposal. What I'm proposing now to move forward with the license plate recognition technology is in a mobile environment. I tried to research temporary quasi-mobile fixture of what they call nomad cameras that basically look like a power transformer that ComEd has on their poles in the neighborhoods. It's possible to get cameras hidden and affix it to a pole, but when we look deeper into running electric to it and actually getting manpower to get up there and mount it, we're looking at about $1,000 every time we wanted to transfer that to a different neighborhood and move it around. So that was not an option. So one option that I'm very happy to move forward with, if you give me permission, is in a mobile environment, and that's in our patrol vehicles. And license plate recognition technology has been out in the field for, I'm going to guess, maybe 10 years, maybe a little less. But the application in cooperation with, or using the license plate recognition technology with the Vigilant database, software, Learn database, intelligence-led policing suite provides a tremendous benefit on the investigative side with the analytics it provides. So you not only have the data that's being captured by the license plate cameras in the car, which captures thousands times more than an officer could. When an officer's driving a car, you can't be typing in his computer. That's basically texting while you're driving. So, and they're not allowed to do that. But what the cameras do, a very basic explanation is cameras are always, there's two cameras pointing to the front, and there's a camera on the back, and it's always looking at license plates, and it's grabbing them, and it's running them against the law enforcement database and against the nationwide, I don't want to say private database, but a commercial database, which is hosted by Vigilant. There's a lot of private entities, which I've learned while researching this, that use license plate recognition data in the commercial field. Repossessors, vehicle repossessors use it. A lot of private companies, casinos, rental car companies. All of this data, all of these captures, which are in the public way, are being recorded in a database. And there's about 1 million captures in this database throughout the United States. I've got a couple of my detectives here. I've got Detective Sergeant Barnes and Detective Wish, who have actually used the Learn software, the database, in a couple major incidents, and one being the residential burglaries we've had. So they've had experience using that for our main priority, and that's fighting these residential burglars. With the mobile application, it's less money than what I had originally proposed. It comes in at approximately $36,000 to equip 2 vehicles. That gives us 2 squads equipped. That's not installation. The installation costs will be covered in our vehicle changeovers that I budget for. So this equipment will go into a new vehicle after May 1st that we'll be purchasing. The software, when we capture the data, how it's going to work for us is the vehicles will be driving on patrol. They'll be capturing license plate data. We will have the option to enter data, license plate data, like in this recent investigation with the residential burglaries. We had information on temporary license plates that the offenders were using. We had information on regular license plates. We had suspect information. We can enter all that data into this database. We can set up geofences around our village and in the immediate area. We can be warned if the license plate data we entered is coming in proximity to the village. Even if we don't have a squad car, if I have 2 of my cars are down, they're not being used, we don't even have to have LPR cameras out there. We'll still be warned that these individuals are in the area. We have access to facial recognition, which we would never have access to. It's too cost prohibitive. Usually federal agencies and the private sector have that. We would have access to facial recognition, query data, the database. We could enter our mug shots in, people we're looking for, and we can find people using that query. A lot of analytics that the detectives use. There's so much, it provides us so much, it was hard to put it in a memorandum to you in a proposal. But I feel that this application, 2 patrol vehicles, 2 LPR systems, would be a greater benefit to us than my original proposal of that speed trailer.
Trustee Grasso?
Well, I think this is really exciting. To me, it sounds quite futuristic, cutting-edge technology, and it'll not only protect our police officers, it'll also give us a heads up and protect our public. I mean, it sounds like it's a terrific idea, and I'm all in favor of it.
You said you can outfit 2 cars. Does that mean each car will have a front and a back camera?
Correct. Each car will have 3 cameras.
Oh, each car will have 3 cameras.
And the reason for that is moving forward, you've got to be able to look at cars parked, cars passing, and then the back camera will be on behind the driver, facing out backwards, catching cars going away.
Now, what happens when the camera spots a license plate that's on the wanted list?
There's an alert. The driver's alerted in the squad. It pulls up the picture of the car and what the hit is. The database, law enforcement has access to more information, obviously, than the private sector using Vigilant. When the sales rep came in to walk us through how this is used, she only had access to license plate data that was captured by these companies like repossessors. They don't have access to the law enforcement side. The law enforcement side takes that plate, runs it against the law enforcement database in Illinois and NCIC. So the same database as if I run your license plate, either over the air with a dispatcher or in a computer, it does the same thing, but it does it instantaneously. Hundreds of plates. If you drive through Village Center, for instance, when all the cars parked, it's grabbing all those plates and running. And it only is going to alert on somebody, a plate that has a warrant or some indicator in the system.
What's the time element from spotting the license plate to the alert?
It's almost instantaneous. It's amazing
say
to
less
see. It
than a
runs at
second?
a plate a second. It's just capturing plates.
They can get back up there before anybody would even know their license plate's been recognized.
Well, the officer would act, make a traffic stop, and determine if the hit is actually, they always have to verify hits, even without LPR.
Does the camera have, night vision technology?
Yes, it does.
It does. So basically, the officer does not have, once he's driving and the cameras are working, he doesn't have control over the cameras that are acting independently, right?
They are, correct.
Well, that's one reason I like that, because sometimes you hear about profiling and officers have nothing to do with it. It's strictly the cameras. I like the system.
It's been challenged. LPR data storage, LPR use has been challenged by the ACLU, but it's just the vehicle. It's not the driver, it's not a person, it's just the vehicle. The vehicle in a public way, and anybody can take a picture of a license plate. It would be getting back to our use, is aside from capturing that data, one example I'd like to conclude with is we might not be able to put a speed trailer or a pole cam up, but if you've got an officer patrolling an area, and these officers have beat assignments, they just don't drive around the whole town, they stay in an area. A detective can query, correct me if I'm wrong, a detective could query back a month if we've had an issue. If we get intelligence information, this subject is a burglar, committed a burglary in this town, we can query specifically in our area if that license plate's been here. It's all stored. So it provides an amazing resource for the investigators. And like I've said, they've used it. They were given access for about 30 days, which really spoiled them. So, and it helped us on a burglary case tremendously. We were able to, find, if you get a partial plate, you could put a partial plate in. One example they had was, it was a partial plate, but there was a unique license plate frame, and the victim saw a specific words on the frame and later found that vehicle in the database. So, and it reaches out across the United States. There's 38 states that law enforcement is using LPR in currently.
So it's an always-on system on the cars? Once
Well,
it's
the
always
officer
on.
has to turn the computer on and
Right,
fires everything up, yes, but then it's on for the duration of the shift.
Cameras are mounted outside the car?
They're mounted under the light bar,
Okay.
so you have two under the light bar in the corners. They're probably about that big.
The two vehicles that will have the LPR cameras in there, they'll always be on patrol every shift?
No, they won't always be on patrol, but I would like to come back to you maybe every year and get one more and increase the fleet slowly. I know it is expensive, but as with any, major purchases, we try to put a plan together.
Is there a way to have those cars out more than non-LPR?
There is. There may be times when the car goes down and I can't have it out all the time, but yeah, absolutely. Especially in a time where we're experiencing a certain problem in an area, we would make sure that we'd use those vehicles.
One more question.
And what is the cost of the annual vigilant access? And is there an annual fee?
There's an annual fee. There's two levels. The annual fee is $5,000 a year, and that's for access to the database. The cameras themselves have maintenance costs. I have to get those. I believe, what was the maintenance again, Mike? $750 a year per camera. So I do want to get a little more information before we make this final.
It's going to cut into your budget a little bit, but.
Yeah, it will. But I think it's worth it. It's worth the resource, the investigative resource. As we found out with the last group of residential burglars, they had access to many license plates. They had access to many temporary plates, many different vehicles, higher-end vehicles. And that's exactly what Detective Wish used this software for, was to try to grab those plates. What areas are they in? So it was a tremendous resource.
Okay.
So the 750 per camera per year, is that a maintenance?
That's a
type?
maintenance,
Okay,
yes.
So does that mean that it also, they would replace it if need be, or what do you expect the life expectancy of these cameras are? Or even the software, the whole system?
Well, the software is hosted. It's hosted like a cloud-based access to the database, the different databases. The cameras themselves, I don't have a lifespan on them. I've talked to colleagues about it. They've lasted a considerable long time. There's not much to them, but I don't have that exact information for you. I have a couple concerns with some ongoing costs, but it will not be more than the total 36,000 number I have in my proposal. But I would like to get a little more detailed information that
The
just came up.
$36,000 includes the cost of the cameras plus 2 years of maintenance, right?
Correct. 2 years of access to the database, the intelligence-led policing, facial recognition database, and access for up to 99 officers.
Just database or database and maintenance?
No, the maintenance is separate from,
So that's not included in the cost?
Correct.
So it's 2 years, so it's 10,000, it's 20,000 at 36 is
Well, what they do is when you purchase a mobile application, you get a year's access to the database. So we're purchasing 2, we're getting 2 years access. In that 2 years, we're going to evaluate if we need the access for the higher facial recognition, mugshots, or could we go right in at that $5,000 a year access. But every year you add a camera system, you get a year's access. So if we choose not to purchase any more packages or equip any more cars, we would have to determine what level of access we want. Right now, I think our task force uses a $5,000 annual access that gives what they used, the analytics and the access. That would be our ongoing cost.
So it'll be
After 2 years.
basically 5 for the database and 5 for the maintenance. It's $750 a pop for 6 cameras.
Right, correct.
So so again, you're not looking for recommendation today, you're looking to gather more information first.
I could come back to you at the next meeting and
Trustee Francis?
Yes, thank you. So if 2 cameras are 36,000, is the pricing linear? Is it another camera would be 18,000, or is it, how does that work?
the package itself, give me 1 second, I will.
'Cause I know you mentioned you'd be interested in equipping additional cars in the future with more cameras, so I'm looking ahead here.
Yeah, the package, the full package with access per car, if you wanted to purchase new equipment, is $14,995.
Very good. This is another great tool in the toolbox the police can use to help protect the citizens, keep the citizens safe, keep the police safe. So I'm fully in support of it.
Chief, can you remind us how many cars do you have in the fleet?
I have 11 patrol vehicles. And I believe there's 4 administrative vehicles, includes the detectives. We call them administrative vehicles. The patrol vehicles on patrol.
And so what percentage of the day would those 2 vehicles be on the streets? I mean, approximately would it be 20%? 2 of 11, or could it be, as Trustee Bowles said, requested perhaps on that street more often? Or is it about 20%?
Well, I would like them to be on the street more often. Realizing running a car 24/7 though might cause some problems, but
A normal squad, don't we run them 2 out of 3 shifts?
yes, yes.
Okay, it's 30%.
And any idea what it would cost to move those cameras to a different vehicle? Should you decide should that car have to be run up miles faster than the other ones?
Well, that would fall under our equipment switches that we do when we get a new vehicle. When we get new equipment,
I'm not talking about getting a new vehicle, but actually switching just the camera equipment to a car with less miles. Would that be an option? And
no, I wouldn't see the reason to do that. We'd keep it in that vehicle and use that vehicle and then switch it out with all the other equipment. When you're switching out the radios, the lights, all of the other equipment, it's part of the in-car video, right, it's all. So whenever we get new video cameras, they're always going in those new cars that we're building.
Trustee Francis?
Sorry, one additional question. Are the images of license plates recorded?
Yes, they go into a database.
Okay, and so you can go back in time and
Yes,
an incident occurred a week ago, burglary, you go back in time and review those plates that the police vehicle saw in that area.
that's the value, the historical value.
Thank you.
And it's not just a license plate. You basically get the rear or the front of the car.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. Any, Steve, based on the...
Just
these
motion
additional
to table to the
motion
next
table,
meeting
any reason?
for additional information.
I'll make that
Okay.
motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Babeza.
Yes.
Trustee Bolas.
Yes.
Trustee Francis.
Yes.
4-0.
Thank you.
Table to be discussed, no future meeting. Thank you, Chief. Under other considerations for announcement, deliberation, and/or discussion only, no official action will be taken. Board members?
I don't think we've reminded everyone that the state no longer sends out reminders that you need a new license plate sticker. Take it from someone who found out the hard way that you now can go online and you can register each car, and now you will get an email reminder. But this year, you're not going to get anything in the mail, you're not going to get a reminder, you'll get a ticket if you let your sticker expire. So please try to stay current with that.
Jen, if we could dovetail that, emissions tests also, you don't get a reminder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You're supposed to remember every 2 years, I believe.
Wow.
Check that out.
Yeah, and to that point, that's a great reminder from the two of you that I was told recently that the police were going through one parking lot just looking for license plates because it's a lot more probably fruitful to do so.
Our police would not do that,
and,
I'm sure.
Not here, of course. But I know they did do that at Midway Airport, and they got me one time for in the airport garage. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the reason for that was, but it doesn't sound very
Stay
cost
current,
effective.
yeah.
So, anyone else? Okay. We have the residents' comments. Are there any residents who'd like to address the board this time? Okay, seeing no one. Other reports and communications from village officials. I have two items. One is just to announce that we have the Veterans Memorial Committee meeting on Wednesday, March 30th, and we are still looking for volunteers or members of the committee. Should anyone want to join, we would love to talk to you. Also, there's a special meeting on April 6th that actually I even got a little notice in the mail because my property is actually on I-55 on Frontage Road, that there'll be a noise analysis or a noise forum held at Burridge Middle School on April 6th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. That's Wednesday, April 6th. This is in conjunction with the I-55 Managed Lane project, they're looking at, IDOT is looking to add a express toll lane down the middle of I-55. We're also considering a number of noise barriers along the highway, and the one is on the north side of I-55 from Harvester Drive to Garfield, and so anybody that's any stakeholders, any residents are allowed to come to this meeting. Yes.
I have one more announcement. I know that they're looking for more election judges, so if anyone would like to volunteer for that position, I guess it is a paid position. I don't know what you get paid, but you could call. You can call me, and I was told by Jim Broline, who's on the Plan Commission, so he would be welcome any volunteers also.
Great. Anything else? Okay, we have now a section with non-residents. Do we have any non-residents who'd like to address the board at this time?
Dolores Cezek, former trustee and former resident. I'd like to comment on a couple of things you voted on tonight. Oh, Steve, would you please put up the Village Hall signage? And in particular, I'd like to see number 3. Okay. All right, there's number 3. Now, that would be my preference. The first one is not only $2,200 more than number 3, but it would seem to me that it would require much more maintenance with all of those dowels which you don't have on number 3. I would think that number 3 would be adequate.
Smart enough to realize, huh?
I have to wonder about this license plate recognition program. Does the village really have that much crime that it needs that kind of system? That would be my first question. Now, I have a couple things that I will pass out to you. One of them is on drones, and I found it quite interesting. The other one is on the acquisition of the property across the street when the village acquired that land for the police department. It was intended to be obtained through eminent domain, but that did not work out. And I think the article and my letter in response, because the village thinks that it only paid $872,000, but it really paid close to $1 million. So that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Dolores. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved? Second, third.
Roll call?
Trustee Bolas?
Yes.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes?
Trustee Francis?
Yes.
Trustee Juanita?
Yes.
4-0.
Sure.
Thank you for joining us. The meeting is officially adjourned.